All right, Ryan. I'm still trying to gather myself. It's tough. You know, on this pod, it's very easy. We take for granted, we get to come on and we talk about topics day in and day out. It seems like it flows. It has a natural flow to it. This time, still lost for words about Paige Beckers. I know you are. Certainly, we want to again shout out to her family, her friends, the coaches, and especially Paige Beckers herself, as she's in our prayers. And we want to wish her a speedy recovery because we all know that this season is big. But hey, how about there's a lot of comments we need to get to, Ryan, after the topic of today. But there's also a lot of people that disagree on looking at next season already. I would rather disagree with them because I think it's very important when Paige Becker steps back out on the court. I'm looking forward to 23-24 season just as much as this season.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by the reaction in the comments, how much I love the comments, but I think there's a little controversy over what we said in that episode about Paige Beckers and her injury. So there was certainly a lot of comments about that last video, but just saw on my phone 16 minutes ago, got a notification from ESPN. Paige Beckers underwent successful surgery to repair a torn ACL in her left knee last Friday, the school just announced. So that is good news that she did undergo successful surgery on her left knee. But like you said, just so unfortunate, had that whole episode really disappointing. We didn't know how to react when we got that news that day. We had to go on right away and report that and go on the podcast and have an episode. But yeah, just so disappointing and detrimental to the team that she's going to be out the whole entire season. But hopefully, like we said in the last episode, she'll fight through it and have to fight through yet another injury like she did last year and be able to come back to the next season and hopefully play better than her freshman year.
And how about very quickly, we want to shout out to Frank Mitchell up at WFMD. And how about we want to shout out, we go together. For people who don't know, you and I go to the gym together all the time. And we saw Mr. Tim. How about shout out to Tim? And Tim goes, "Oh, you guys have your own podcast now." I said, yeah. Said strictly women's basketball and UConn, University of Connecticut women's basketball. And he looks at us and he goes, "Don't tell me you guys show your face." So he's saying, I guess we have a good voice. We carry on the talk show very well. But I guess we had to stop showing our faces.
Yeah, the face is not so much. So I guess some it's not for everybody.
No.
But yeah, I mean, hopefully our voices are good enough to carry us on through these episodes.
All right. No, he's full of jokes. I told you that. Today is Caroline Ducharme Day. Ryan, she's straight out of Massachusetts. She's a Massachusetts native. She was a freshman coming in. You expect big things out of her. Obviously, you landed her on the list at number 3 in this series. Well, actually, number 4.
Would have been number 4, yeah.
Now that Paige Beckers is out for the season, we'll say she's on the list at number 3. Caroline Ducharme, she ranked pretty high on your list for this series, IVA series. Why did you put her at number 3?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, freshman last year, going into her second year, along with AZ Fudd. I was really excited to see the trio of Paige, AZ, and Caroline, but unfortunately, we'll only get to see the duo of AZ and Caroline, and those two should be fun to watch. And the next episode will be on AZ, but today being Caroline, we all learned during the off season about her hip surgery that she underwent. And hopefully she's able to recover from that and be ready for the first game. I don't think Gino or anybody really knows for sure whether she'll be at 100% for that regular season opener, but we can all hope she will be. But I certainly think that she'll have a huge step up. She had an incredible first year, even though she was dealing with that injury, like we learned for almost the whole entire year. And for her to play like she did last season as a freshman and step up for all the people that were injured, all the players on this team that were injured, certainly a job well done. But Yeah, for Caroline, she has such a good shot. She's an amazing offensive player. I think defense could use a little bit of work, but I think for main focus for Caroline is just going to be her scoring. And I think her playing with Lou as well. We'll get to see a lot of that, hopefully. I think that'll help her a lot playing alongside a veteran like Lou. I think Lou can teach Caroline a lot, certainly on the offensive side of things, being able to score under pressure like Lou has done for the past 4 seasons. So should be fun to watch these newer players play together. But for Caroline, I just think if she focuses on her offense like she did last season, she can score even more now, especially with Paige out, because I would think that Caroline would probably get a couple more minutes and even more starts this season for UConn.
Caroline Ducharme, before making her appearance at UConn, she was number 5 ranked player in her class. You talk about her achievements, was great, amazing, right? 2021 McDonald's, WBCA and Slam High School All-American, the 2020 and 21 Massachusetts Gatorade Player of the Year. So let's just say I think it's safe to say she is used to the East Coast vibes when it comes to basketball. With that said, again, I want to talk to you about again. It's very important that we put emphasis on, especially this player here, because you told me for a while, Phil, like they're telling us that we're not talking about Caroline Ducharme enough. So what specific not trait, but what specific talent, which stands out to you? Why do you think Caroline Ducharme, obviously, yeah, I will admit we didn't mention her, especially going on a year ago. We did not really mention her. But what is it that stands out to you? You said her defense needs worked on a little bit. Is it you think she could shoot from a good 3-point range, or what really stands out to you? Just from the little time that we saw her play, she appeared in 31 games. But only 11 starts. Again, just a freshman, but I think that's pretty darn good, Ryan, when you consider a freshman. She appeared in 31 games. So does this trend not only answer my question about what you see Caroline Ducharme bringing to the court, but is this a good sign? Is this a good sign about these freshmen coming in this year that they're going to see just as many games as what Caroline did her freshman year?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a real possibility that the two new freshmen coming in this year will see more playing time. But we talked about during this whole all season how UConn has such a deep bench, but we'll just have to see how Gino decides to play everybody around, move everybody during the roster during the regular season, see how many minutes everybody gets. But I think for Caroline, she'll definitely get more starts this season, especially like I mentioned with Paige being out, so she'll probably have to fill in like she did last year. But I think for Caroline, I think for me, it might be her leadership. I think she's a really good leader. Like I said, she stepped out a lot last year when Paige was out, had a lot of good games, a lot of good high scoring games. And she did create a lot of turnovers as well. But I think her defense could still use a lot more work. As many and that goes for a lot of the players on this team as well. But from an offensive perspective, I think Caroline can get better since she's only a second-year player. But her and AZ on offense are going to be really, really fun to watch this season. Those two players, I think they just mix and match so well together, just like everybody else on this team. But when they really get rolling from an offensive standpoint, there's not that many teams that's going to be able to stop them this season. So it's going to be really exciting to watch Caroline kind of lead this team, I guess. I think it's going to be Caroline, AZ, and a little bit of Lou and Nika maybe coming off the bench and trying to lead this team while Paige Beckers is out from a guard's perspective. But it's going to be interesting to see how Gino kind of plays Caroline Ducharme and AZ Fudd, and then maybe bring Lou and Nika off the bench or start them for some games. So it's going to be interesting.
All right, I'll be honest with you now. I got a call the other day. Won't mention, they didn't want their name put out, but they're like, Ryan Renner does so well when it comes to these comments on this podcast. And they're like, you just put out this video, even though it was bad news about Paige Becker's out for the season. And they're like, Phil, I just cannot wait until your all's next episode to hear Ryan break down these comments. So not to move on quickly from Caroline Ducharme, but Ryan, we are going to get into these heavy comments. People really came through well on the last video. Again, even though it was bad news, we want to thank everyone for their support. The Paige Becker's tears ACL out for season video. Here we go. It's going to be tough, Ryan, even for me to point out the best of the best. And everyone left some good ones. I will go with, let's go with Anthony Taylor. I give UConn a hard time as a South Carolina fan, but it's something about Paige, legs, knees, or something, or cartilage, or something that's not right. I think they need an independent specialist to see what's really wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd agree with that because like we talked about before, in one of the past episodes, maybe about a month or so ago, about it was at the end of the summer workouts, and we were talking about how Gino was saying that Paige Beckers needs to work on a little bit of her strength, building her body up to get a little stronger so she can be a better all-around player. So I mean, I guess I would assume that she was trying to do that, and unfortunately she got hurt while playing that pickup game. But it's really hard to tell, how much work she was putting in, but I'm sure she was in that gym every single day, doing what she needs to do with the trainers and the coaching staff there at UConn to be able to build her body up. But yeah, I mean, I think once Paige Becker is able to recover, get some time out on the court and be able to build her leg and whole body back up again to the shape it needs to be in to be able to compete at the high level that UConn needs Paige Beckers to play at. I would certainly think that it sounds like a good idea, like they just mentioned, to have a specialist of some kind there at UConn to be able to just monitor her and see how she does to make sure that everything's okay with that left leg and left knee to make sure that she does not get injured again.
I know this is one of your favorites. That's why I have to read this. John Ippolito. And you tell me this all week. You're like, Phil, did you see that? Did you see that? Wow. So sorry for her. She should be retiring. Her body can't handle the stress and rigors of this sport. She was a bright, shining light, and now she's gone.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really know how to, because I was scrolling through the comments a little bit to just read over a couple of them. And like you said, I pointed that one out to you, and I really didn't know how to react to it. But I mean, it almost sounds like by that comment, it's like she's a 20-year-old veteran in the WNBA that
this is not Ryan. This is not Sue Bird.
No, I mean, she still has Paige Becker is still only a junior, and next year obviously it'll be her senior year. And I think she has an extra year from COVID as well, but I'm not sure. I think maybe she just has 1 year left of her senior year, but I'm pretty sure she only has two, or she still has 2 years left. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously disappointing she's out this season, but for her to retire is just would be something that I don't think anybody would expect, and I don't know why she would just give up. But if something is really wrong with her left leg or knee that she's not able to for some reason get right, or it's just a permanent injury that she's not able to recover from, then it would make sense for her to maybe retire, because if she's not able to heal up completely from it, but if she's able to heal up 100%, even if it takes more into next season as well, to be able to have her back at 100% is just good for not only UConn but all of women's college basketball.
Hey, this is cool. Congratulations on your national championship title, Elise Lowrow. Thanks for coming through, Elise. I've never seen this name before, Ryan. Now we have Gamecock fans coming on the podcast. So, Ryan, I want you to shout out to Elise on this one. I'm a diehard Gamecock women's basketball fan. I am also a UConn fan. I know how. Okay, all right. So, who did you root? We want to know who she rooted for then in that national championship game. I'm a diehard Gamecock women's basketball fan and also a UConn fan. I know how it feels to have an injury in the knee. I pray for Paige Beckers and her family. It's like when Marcus Littmore. I hope that it's like that for Paige Beckers. God bless you, Paige. and get well soon.
Yeah, I mean, I want to know who she rooted for too in that national championship game, because that's interesting. I guess she rooted for both teams and whoever won. But yeah, I mean, it's so disappointing. But yeah, I mean, I think it's disappointing for obviously all the UConn fans, including us. But I think for, just like I mentioned, for all of women's college basketball, when Paige Beckers goes down with an injury like this and she's out the whole entire season, like we just saw with this comment here that she loves UConn, and I would assume she loves UConn partly due to Paige Becker. So we all know how many people love Paige Beckers. As soon as she came in out of high school and performed like she did during her freshman year, I think everybody just fell in love with Paige Beckers and the way she played. And unfortunately, last season she missed 18, 19 games, and then she's going to miss the whole season this year as well. So hopefully, just hoping and praying that she's able to recover from this and be back for next year.
How are we on time, Ryan? You're keeping track for me.
I think we're good. I think we're good for now.
Okay. All right. Let me know if there's a fair warning, because I need that warning. I hate to, I told you the other day, I hate to get cut off with no notice.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to get caught off again.
No, the worst thing that could ever happen, because then people would blame us for, hey, why did you read my comment and then not analyze it? Hey, how about Bond Riley? I like this a lot. And this is what I was actually Michael Waterfield. It ties in. I'm gutted. He said, I'm gutted. Don't agree with the two internet doctors on this video. She will be back. Just to put it clear, you or I don't think you, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think you or I ever said that we totally agree 100% that Paige is done, like her career is over. We never said anything like that.
No.
So that ties in, Ryan. I can't wait to see what you have for Bond Riley. Let's see what Ryan says about this one. I know a lot of folks will be mad at me, but I think Paige is her biggest enemy. I like this comment a lot. I'm glad it sounds like he has my back here. When she got hurt last year, I suggested she redshirt and come back fully healthy this year. See that? Well, no, she rushed back, limped through the NCAA tournament. We already mentioned that. Then she's here during summer horsing around, not putting 100% into this. Gino is telling her to hit the weight room. What happens? She blows it out in a pickup game. She may never be good again or play in the WNBA. I'm not concerned. Listen to this. This makes you think, Ryan. I'm not concerned with what happens in UConn. They always come out okay. What I am concerned with has to do with Paige giving away her career.
Yeah, I love that comment. Completely agree. And yeah, I mean, that was a point that you were very strong about bringing up last season when she came back, was her rushing in. And obviously we all wanted to see her play and go through the Big East tournament and be ready for March Madness. But it was just so important for Paige to be 100% healthy. But I think we all realized, especially during the NCAA tournament last year, that she was definitely not 100% healthy. And like the comment just said, that she was playing, limping through and just giving all she had, but she just wasn't 100% healthy. And I think that was definitely a big part in why she probably got injured again. And just trying to rush back and not being at 100% and not taking completely care of her left leg or knee. But I mean, it's definitely something interesting. I think maybe it has something to do with the trainers as well. I mean, I think, obviously Paige wants to be out there as soon as she can, but the trainers and the coaching staff have to realize that if she's not 100% healthy, it's probably not a good decision to have her out there. But she definitely did help the team a lot get to that national championship game, but in the end they lost. So I mean, it's just it's a very interesting topic. And of course, nobody knew that she was going to get injured like this before the season even started. But now that she did, we just have to wonder, it probably wasn't the best decision to have her out there last season if she wasn't 100% healthy.
Now, here we go with this. I'll read two off in a row to you because this is going to get fun. Julissa Davis, they weren't going to win it anyway. Speaking of the national championship, not with Boston still playing, with the heart she has for winning. Ryan, but then you turn the page to Richard Bueller. You guys are unbelievable. They played without her all last season and did very well, and she can be replaced. Come on, guys. UConn is much more than Paige Becker's. So, I mean, now it's the question, are we leaning towards Jalissa Davis's side or Richard Bueller's side?
Well, I'll try my best to answer. I'm really trying my best for all these comments because we said before we went on, this is going to be pretty hard to go through all these comments. Obviously, we won't be able to go through all of them, but I mean, I kind of sort of agree with the first comment in a sense that UConn probably wasn't going to win that game. And they really just gave it all they had before. And
well, I know, I think Ryan, just to clear it up, we're speaking on next year's national championship, but I totally disagree. If I understand her correctly, how are you going to give up on a season before the season started?
Yeah, well, if we're talking about this year, then yeah, I mean, I don't.
Well, I know I am now personally.
Yeah.
I am now. I know you can't ever give up, but I expect big things out of this UConn team. But hey, as far as a national title, not next year.
Yeah, I mean, it was going to be hard to win last year anyway. With all the momentum South Carolina had, they were obviously the best team all season long. Not being able to play because of COVID and coming a layup short, losing, it was their year last year. They definitely deserved it. UConn was limping around all season long last year. But yeah, I mean, this year, Paige Becker's going down, getting into the second comment, the season definitely isn't over. And I think I even mentioned in the last episode, I've been saying it every single episode, how deep this UConn team is. And we still have AZ Fudd, Caroline Ducharme, Nika Mule, and of course the new transfer, Lou Lopez, who now her role is even bigger than what we all expected it to be coming into the season. With Paige Becker's being out, and there's so many forwards and centers on this team, including the two new transfers coming into the season. So there's definitely a lot of depth and so many players that can fill Paige Becker's role there, but there's obviously no replacing Paige Becker's, especially the Paige Beckers that we saw our freshman year. But yeah, I mean, the season is nowhere near over before it even began. There's still a lot of hope here at UConn, I would think, for all the fans down there in Connecticut. But there's a lot. It's a long season ahead. We haven't even gotten into preseason yet. So
how about one more? Time for one more?
Yeah, time for one more. Yeah.
Okay, Rachel Fight. We haven't heard from her in a while. Rachel, thanks for coming through. I agree, it would be very tough to get a national championship win without Paige available to lead and play healthy. Might be difficult to even get her to even get to the Final Four. Nika seems like the likely choice to take over at that point. She definitely needs to work on her mid-range shot and score more. We would need that from her. Paige will redshirt, and with the NIL deals paying her so well and little incentive to rush into getting drafted, she'll most likely graduate a year late as a fifth-year senior, and then she'll enter the draft. If she doesn't go number one, she'll still likely be a top 5 pick. I like that comment a lot, Ryan. And yeah, so Rachel is leaning towards my prediction. I think that, unless UConn finishes at the top of the mountain during the 23-24 season, I really think that we're going to see Paige Beckers here on 2 more seasons after this season.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be definitely the smartest decision for Paige, unless, like you mentioned, they win it 2 years from now, the season after this one, unless they ride off and get the national championship. Then I would think it'd probably be best if Paige goes out on top. But yeah, I mean, I think for Paige, with her, I mean, assuming she's 100%, she still needs to work through all this, through the season and through the off season next year to be able to just kind of get back to the way that we all know she's able to play. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see who fills the role of Paige Beckers. And I think it's probably going to be a combination of the 4 guards we have left on this team. But it's definitely going to be But I think if any team can do it without their number 1 star player, it's the UConn Huskies. So if a team can do it, it's definitely going to be UConn.
Yeah. All right, Ryan. We'll leave it at that. Uh, I tell you what, we probably won't be back for a while, a significant amount of time. With that said, Ryan, have a great weekend. And I guess to break it to everyone, the series is almost over. The last two, AZ, and then you told me Dorka.
Yep, AZ Fun and Dorka Juhas to top it all off.
And again, I think it's just very ironic, the irony behind it. You never want to see anyone injured, but hey, my mind is blown all of a sudden. She's from Ohio State, and now it seems like that she could be number one. I understand people say we don't talk about Caroline Ducharme enough, but you know who my top pick is now for a all-star in UConn, and that's Dorka. I loved her from day one. I liked her a lot since she joined this team. I just find it very ironic, Ryan, that here we are. She officially holds this number one spot now on your list.
Yeah, and I really don't think she got enough recognition last year as well. She had a great season, kind of a slow start coming in, but she found her way. She found her way through the UConn system and worked with her teammates and Coach Gino as well. And found their shot, like Gino said, and fit in very well with the passing offense and getting rebounds, playing defense. And like you said, I expect her to take an even bigger jump this season. Yeah. I think she'll have a great year. Can't wait for that episode.
We get it. It's like it's a team sport, but it's like the NCAA March Madness app where you have to pick one player from one team, one player from the other team. All right. And you make up a picture of the game preview, right? And that's the way I feel about this. You guys comment, tell us what you think on this video that we're getting ready to publish out. But Ryan, tell them to comment away, because I know this is going to bring out the very best in some people when they comment away on the next video, and they pretty much tell us, hey, who is the face of this team? I would really go with Dorka Juhas.
Yeah, I think now with Paige Becker's out, I would probably go with Dorka Juhas as well. But you guys let us know in the comments who's going to have the biggest impact for UConn this season. A lot of players to pick from, but now with Paige out, it's going to make it tough.
Okay, AZ Fudd and Dorka Juhas very patiently awaiting for their episodes as we put the spotlight on them in the coming weeks and in this series. Phil and Ryan, listen up.